Hello and welcome. We are the AI Accelerators Group, a collective of innovators, strategists, educators, and builders committed to making artificial intelligence human, responsible, and accessible. Through the AI Accelerators Group, we're leading the charge in AI adoption and digital transformation within the Black community and across organizations everywhere. We align with ICABA's vision, creating a trusted global ecosystem of more than 1 million Black professionals and entrepreneurs, sharing knowledge, building wealth, and strengthening leadership capacity.
At ICABA, our mission has always been to connect and empower Black professionals and entrepreneurs to grow, prosper, and lead. Our new AI Accelerator Group expands that vision by helping our members harness the power of artificial intelligence to increase growth, productivity, and success. This initiative connects members with ICABA's network of AI experts, professionals who collaborate to create smarter, faster, more competitive business solutions. And we're taking this innovation to the world through ICABA-TV's Thriving podcast, where we showcase how our members are using AI to transform industries and open doors in the marketplace. The ICABA AI Accelerator isn't just about technology, it's about community, collaboration, and creating new opportunities for all of us to thrive together.
In our last conversation on October 14th, we explored what it truly means to stay relevant and valued in the age of AI. We talked about how AI is reshaping what value looks like and how professionals can redefine their roles to stay relevant and resilient in a changing world. We talked about the mindset shift, moving from task doers to strategic thinkers who use AI not just to automate work, but to amplify impact, influence, and innovation.
AI will be that type of application in everything we do. As we start thinking about how the internet has changed our lives, how am I coming to you right now over these particular devices? AI is a game changer and will be a thinking type application alongside the human element. So think of HI, human intelligence, with AI, artificial intelligence, creating an HAI symbiotic relationship as we go forward.
We talked about the human advantage, empathy, ethics, and creativity, the very qualities that technology can't replicate and that make us indispensable.
AI doesn't replace people, it replaces patterns. That's number one. And your value isn't in what you do, it's how you think about things, right? So automation handles information and humans, our humanness, that human intelligence handles the transformation we're looking for in regards to growth as an individual, and then that as a catalyst for growth in the business.
And we talked about the call to lead, stepping beyond adaptation into ownership, making sure we're not just reacting to the AI future, but shaping it together.
So we can't just use the tools, we have to help design them, we have to help train them, and also implement them responsibly. And that's why I created the AI Workforce Pro, to build internal capability, especially with Black-owned businesses and nonprofits, so we're not waiting for others to tell our story. True leadership is saying we belong in the boardroom where AI strategy is being decided.
That conversation reminded us that true leadership in this season isn't about keeping pace with technology. It's about deciding where it goes and why. AI isn't here to replace our work. It's here to reveal it. And when we use it with intention, AI can amplify our vision, extend our reach, and strengthen how we serve.
When we use it with intention, AI can amplify our vision, extend our reach, and strengthen how we serve. At the end of the day, it's not about mastering the machine. It's about mastering the mindset. We heard this over and over again today. The leaders who apply AI with integrity, with strategy and purpose will shape the future, but more importantly for the Black community, it will shape our future.
Today, we continue that journey. Our work bridges technology and purpose, helping professionals, businesses, and communities move from confusion to clarity, using AI not to replace people, but to empower them. At our core, we believe AI should amplify human value, extend our reach, and multiply our collective impact in our work, our leadership, and our legacy. What sets us apart is what we call the Accelerator's Edge. We apply what others only talk about. We don't just tell you what AI can do, we show you how to make it work for you. We teach in human language. No buzzwords, just real impact. We lead with responsibility, ensuring AI serves people, not the other way around. We build, not borrow, creating tools and systems that reflect our culture, our values, and our vision. And we're a collective force, leaders moving together to redefine access, ownership, and opportunity. Simply stated, we're not adding to the noise, we're changing the conversation. This is the AI Accelerators Group, leading with purpose, building with precision. Together, we're not just learning AI, we're shaping how it serves our people, our purpose, and our progress.
Thank you, AI Angela. The voice you just heard wasn't me. It was my AI cloned voice, created to show how powerful and personal this technology can be when used with purpose and integrity. That's exactly what using the AI Accelerator's Edge is about, how we move from curiosity to clarity. You just heard who we are and what drives this work. A collective of innovators and educators committed to making AI human, responsible, and accessible. Today isn't about coding, it's about clarity, how this technology intersects with your purpose, your leadership, and your everyday work. Here's what you'll leave with today: a clear understanding of where AI comes from and how it works, simple ways you can enhance your personal AI usage and experience, a deeper awareness of how AI can advance equity for our communities, 3 practical ways to start using AI now to save time and to grow influence. Before we jump in, let's welcome our AI Accelerators panel. Returning to us this week are members of our AI Accelerators team who helped kick off this conversation during Black Professionals Month. Abdul Mohammed, President and Chief Growth Officer of MDM Ventures. Grant McGaugh, CEO of 5-Star MDM. Nilda Thomas, Founder and Chief AI Officer of Business AI Consulting, creator of the AI Workforce Pro Enablement System. Joining us today for the first time is another of our accelerators who you heard about during our first podcast, Stephanie Sylvester, co-founder of Avatar Buddy and managed AI as a service company. And joining us for the first time on the panel is another member of the AI Accelerators Group, Charles Smart. He is the CEO and founder of Metai-Block, an AI and emerging technology agency helping organizations and entrepreneurs move from AI curiosity to practical application. With over 25 years in technology spanning software development to executive strategy roles with global enterprises like Carnival Cruise Lines, Macy's, and Maersk, Charles brings a rare balance of technical depth, creative vision, and business insight. At Metai-Block, His team drives AI literacy, organizational AI adoption, and creates custom-built enterprise solutions, including an AI business platform that delivers cross-application intelligent insight that lets you talk to your data. A sought-after speaker on AI and data governance, Charles has presented at major conferences such as AI4 and has led hands-on AI workshops for government agencies, universities, and Fortune 500 companies. He's best known for demystifying AI by reframing it around a simple question. What problem are you trying to solve, and how can AI help you solve it better? And once again, moderating our conversation today is visionary and global connector, Jerome Hutchinson. We're excited to have each of you with us as we continue this journey from conversation to clarity. Hutch, let's get started.
Well, thank you, Angela. And I want to really talk about the fact that we look at AI sometimes like a mystery wrapped in tech speak. But today we're going to make it plain. And Stephanie and Charles are going to bring that to us here. And so when we talk about artificial intelligence, what are we really talking about? How does it actually work? Well, for those who are learning the fundamentals, such as us, because we're all still learning here, how does AI get its information, and just where does all that data come from? Well, Stephanie, how about shining a light on that for us?
How does AI actually work, and where does the data come from? So the data comes from the internet, from social media, from blogs. Before social media came into play, there was the framework for AI, but did not have enough data. Now that we have social media, we are able to create data. And so whenever I tell people about AI, I say, if you liked something on social media, if you looked up at something on social media, interacted, write a post, you've been helping to create AI, and so you should embrace it.
Well, thank you, Stephanie, for that. And as we're also getting started, we want to encourage everyone to comment in the chat and share your thoughts and any questions that you have there. We will be addressing those as we go along. And so there's also been discussion about bias in AI, hiring, facial recognition, even search engines. And so how do these biases happen, and what can we do about them? And Charles, can you give us some insight here?
Yeah, sure. So I want to start off by saying that, bias isn't created by AI. It's learned from the data that it's been trained on. So if you have biased data, then the AI is going to be biased. You just spoke about how, the AI is trained based on data that we get from the internet or books that have been written and content that we put out on social media. And so our biases are embedded in that data, whether they're prejudices or perspectives that we have that may not necessarily align with the truth. And so a big part of that, those models that you're using every day, like your ChatGPT and Perplexity, you may not necessarily be able to go back and change the underlying training data, but what you're able to do is flag it. Sometimes you get a response from ChatGPT and you have that thumbs up or thumbs down. You can basically flag it and say, hey, this data doesn't look right. Really what needs to happen, however, and what we can do about it is we have to get a seat at the table in order to be able to address the bias at the core. Some things that you can do personally are you can basically create your own data sets using tools like Notebook LM or GPTs within ChatGPT. But those are some of the things that you can do to address the bias. But at the core, the bias comes from the underlying training data. And right now, the core data has to be changed. Underlying data has to be changed in order for us to really address those biases.
Well, thanks, Charles. I appreciate that. And so how can professionals protect themselves, from using tools that kind of reinforce that bias? Do you have some thoughts about that, Stephanie?
Yes. So there's been a lot of AI tools out there. And one of the things that we recommend, I mean, I'll say we're slightly biased, just a little pun on the word here, that you find a company like Avatar Buddy that can create a small language model for you. Because if you have your own small language model that you're vetting what data goes in, you can ensure that it's bias free. You can ensure that it's 100% accurate. You can also ensure that your AI is only using the data that you want it to use. What does that mean? It means hallucination goes down to low single digits. It means that your AI will be able to be more impactful. And if you configure your AI appropriately, then what you can do is you can have the AI give you links to the documents that it uses so you can check and validate the source. I always encourage people to have AI provide links back to the documents it uses just as a good quality check. I used to do IT quality, so I'm big into quality. Uh, Trust but verify is still a big thing. There's also remind people that what AI is a reflection of who we are, and so if your AI, as Charles mentioned, is providing you with inaccurate data, that means that there's something that was bigger than the AI, and that was pre-AI. And the one last thing I'll say is I like to tell people that in IT, in IT there was the data garbage in, garbage out, and now with AI, it's garbage in, toxic waste out. AI amplifies everything you do thousands of times. So I'm looking at the chat and somebody says, "What is hallucination in this context?" Hallucination is a fancy way of saying that the AI makes up stuff and says it in a way that makes it sound so realistic that you believe it. Um, and so what you want to do is you want to control the data quality and control the data set size so that the AI is less prone to make up stuff. And then the last thing that we advocate doing is coaching the AI to be humble. Tell AI to say it's okay to um, that it doesn't know. So right now, the way AI is constructed, it gets rewarded if it answers a question, even if it's the wrong question. You know, sometimes would they tell you when you're doing a multiple choice question, just fill in something because you might guess it right, um, and you don't get any penalties for guessing it wrong. Well, AI uses that same construct, and what we're saying is you should have penalties for guessing it wrong. And the more you tell the AI it will have consequences for guessing it wrong, the less likely it is going to make up information and tell you that it doesn't know.
All right. Well, thank you, Stephanie. And I'm glad that you gave a little bit of elaboration about hallucinations. It's not a drug-induced thing; it's an AI-induced thing. So Charles, AI mirrors. I'm sorry. What responsibility is the question really? Is since AI learns from us, what responsibility do we have in shaping what AI is learning?
Well, it's two parts, right? So they're the underlying models that we use every day. There's your Chat GPT, your Claude, and there is, of course, Perplexity and many other Gemini. Those models are trained by data that if you're not at the table to have an input on what that data is going to be, there's not a lot that we are able to do at that level. What we can control and what we can amplify is the biases that are out there. So because the data that part of the data that's being trained on, content that we have on the internet has a lot to do with how it influences the data that's there and verified and credible content. So the more credible content that we can create, generally speaking, that basically influences those models is going to be one of the biggest ways that we can influence that bias. Now, the other part that is probably more difficult is being able to have a seat at the table, right? When decisions are made about whether or not a data set is going to be included in those models and is going to be used to train those models, if we're not at the table to say, okay, this information right here is not correct, or this information represents us in an incorrect manner, then that information is going to be trained on that model with the bias there, and nobody's going to be there to check it. So one of the things that I talk about is that we have to figure out a way to be a part of the conversation when that data is being selected to be used in those models. Now, Stephanie talked about creating your own world, right? So your own model to be able to select your own data and then figure out, okay, I want only this data to be used and it's curated. But for many of us don't have those resources. And so at a larger scale, we have to influence the people who are making decisions around the selection of that data and making sure that we are represented, and also be conscious about the content that we put out in the places where that data is basically being sourced from. So whether it's on social media, blogs that we put out, or those verified sources online. One of the things about AI as well is it gives a lot more credibility to sources that are quote unquote credible. So whether it's a news source or a reputable site. And so getting our content into those places is also really important to be able to allay those biases. I have a personal experience recently with creating a new music video for a UNIA anthem, which of course ties back to Marcus Garvey. And of course, every time I tried to use an image model or a video model to try to generate videos or images about 1920 and Black empowerment or any of the messages around Marcus Garvey, the models would come back and tell me, hey, that's sensitive data. There's nothing sensitive about what I was trying to create, but because of the association, the bias, the model, of course, is going to reject it. And so the content that we put out there, we have to balance it with content that corrects the biases and include, try to figure out how do we get to be at the table where those decisions are being made about what data set is being selected to put into the models that we use every day, like your ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Claude.
All right. Well, thank you, Charles. And, you know, I wanted to address something that was in one of our comments here. And I think it was from Simone. And she asked, how should we create our own data sets? And if you could, and Stephanie, elaborate on that a bit, creating our own data sets. And could you talk a little bit about that?
So when you talk about data sets, right, it sounds like an uber complicated, fancy thing. It's basically the set of data, the set of files. So you have some Excel spreadsheets, you have some Word documents, you have some images, and you want to be able to share that consistently across your entire organization. You want the AI to use that as a source to create new content for you. That's what I'm talking about when I say a data set. So it's not complicated. It's just what data do you use? What data do you reference? So I'll give you an example. We have customers that write grants. So what they do is they give the AI the previous grants that they've written that they got funded, and then they give the AI the new grant questions, and the AI uses that information to answer those new grant questions. And because of that, they're able to write their grants faster. And they're seeing increased grant funding. So what is their data set in this example? Their data set is their past grants, and their data set might be some information about their organization. It doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, now that the algorithms have been created, you can throw away all of the large language model data, and the AI can still work quite well if you give it a new data set. And so what I'm advocating is if you want to ensure quality and accuracy in your AI solutions, you, to Charles's point, you're not going to get a seat at the table at OpenAI. You're not going to get a seat at the table at Google. But what you can do is you can counteract that. You can create your own data set with your own set of data and grow it over time. And you can instruct your AI so that it only uses the data that you give it and not use the data in the large language model. It's kind of like back in circa 2001, 2002, when the internet became all the rage and people realized that you can't put all your data out there. You have to create portals and build out firewalls. And so we're saying that that's where the new direction of AI, and that's where you take back control, because you are deciding what data goes into that data set. You're deciding what data the AI is using. And because you're doing that, you can reduce bias. You can ensure that the data that you're disseminating to other people are accurate. And you know, Avatar Buddy creates small language models for people, but if you can use that with ChatGPT as well. Gemini now can crawl your Google Drive, so you can limit where in your Google Drive you want it to pull data, so it's accurate. And obviously, you don't want it to pull all the data. So creating a data set is really about looking at all the data you have, determining which one is important, and then giving it to the AI. And who's making those decisions? The person in charge of your data. So every company, if you have a well-run company, you should have a data governance and a data strategy. And a data governance and a data strategy determines who approves the data, who approves the information to go out. So an example is that we have certain words and terminologies that we use at Avatar Buddy. We call our AIs AI buddies, not AI assistants or or digital companions. So we have trained in our AI to always use the word AI buddies, not digital companions. So if somebody gives me something, I know that they didn't use one of our agents to write it, because our agents don't use those terminology. I knew that they used something else to write it. And so that's kind of data governance. And this is a very simple example of data governance. You want to be consistent with your brand, or consistent with your terminology. And the person that, if it's a small company, it's the CEO. Or the person that's head of marketing, person that's head of communications, those are the people. Or if it's a larger company, you might have in IT, you have a data governance team that is made up of a cross section of people from different departments.
That's really great, Stephanie. And I think we really got a lot of insight there as it relates to data sets and data governance. And Charles, I know you do a lot of work in this area, and we're really kind of at the end of this section, but I want to give you, 30 seconds to just kind of make a quick comment, if you don't mind, to put a kind of a bow on this section about governance.
Yeah, governance is really about, I think Stephanie touched on that. When it comes to creating your own data set, you want to be able to have a really good understanding of the quality of that data is going to matter. Garbage in, garbage out, and how that data is going to be used across your organizations. Organizations are now rolling out their own models. And in order to make sure that the data is being used, or those models are being used properly, there has to be some kind of governance about the use of the data, where the data comes from, and the input of the data that's being trained on. So organizations really have to have some kind of a model or a framework for being able to measure that, so that your decisions at the end of the day are not these black boxes that nobody understands. Okay, where did the data come from, and why is the model telling me this? Because you have the controls in place to be able to.
Well, thanks, Charles. I appreciate that. And, AI really does mirror the people. And so as much as we see a little mystique in this whole thing with AI, it is about the people and the systems who are being built by people. So it makes responsibility that we have non-negotiable. And so let's take that same lens and talk about how we make sure it actually works for us. You know, we talked earlier in here in terms of the theme, AI works for our communities rather than on them. Well, we have to make sure that that happens. And so let's talk a little bit about how representation in education can create equitable AI adoption. And, you know, while technology is neutral, we know access and opportunity are not. So Abdul, Nilda, kick off for us this discussion here about equity in the new AI economy.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Hutch. Always a pleasure to be here with the crew, dropping nuggets of whiz about AI. And this topic is definitely near and dear to my heart. I just want to start by saying that AI is only as powerful as the people who shape it. And when our voices are missing, so is our future, right? And that's powerful. So as you mentioned, this conversation is about ensuring AI is built with our communities, right? So it has to be built with our communities, not used on our communities. And I'm gonna dig into a little history there when we talk about that, not used on our communities, because the United States has had a history of, you know, using specific communities to test things on, right? And so we have to ensure that this conversation and AI and technology in the future of our inclusion in it is built with our communities, not used on our communities. And also this dynamic, as you know, I'm always into the mindfulness and humanity, that really reminding everyone that AI and HI has to work together. This is how we unlock the human potential. This is how we really deliver on the promise of ICABA, economic mobility, and generational wealth. And so, as you mentioned, Hutch, the technology is neutral, but access is not. And so when you look at how AI can close or widen the gap, we've got to really understand that AI can either become a ladder or a lock, depending on who gets access. Yeah. So it could be either a ladder or a lock. And underrepresented professionals are not under-talented, we're just under-resourced. And that has been the way that, I'm going to be quite honest with it, the United States has been set up from the beginning as it relates to black and brown people, indigenous people, is that we're not under-talented, not under-skilled, just under-resourced. And whether you look at it as this is a system and a structure that we can break through or not, is really what this conversation is about. How AI can automate inequality if we don't intervene, because that's what's happening. When you look at governance and the conversation that Charles and Stephanie were having, you know, this is really what this is about, is automating inequality. If we continue to go down the path where these algorithms are biased in the way they are, and if we don't intervene in a way that makes a difference now, right? But AI can also automate opportunity for us, right? So how we look at that, it's either automating inequality or it's automating opportunity. And so I'll just stop there. I know I said a lot, but I'll take a little break there and see how that sits on everyone.
Well, I think that was very insightful, Abdul, and but that's what you do, and so we appreciate that. And I want to ask Nilda to mention, you know, some examples of like Black-founded AI firms, inclusive data sets, you know, and demonstrate a little bit how our custom built tools that she's been developing and working with can enhance the AI experience for the user and make sure that we are contributing to not just taking from AI, but putting into AI so that it reflects us. Nilda?
Yes, thank you, Hutch. This is a very important conversation. And actually, there are several Black founded AI firms that are making significant impacts across industries ranging from enterprise IT and beauty tech to legal services and robotics. And so just to name a few, there's Worldwide Technology, which is a global technology company providing AI, machine learning, and IT consulting for the government and industry. Then there's Myvana, which is a very interesting AI platform. And what that company does is it uses AI-driven hair analysis to recommend personalized products for textured hair. And then there's Robin AI, which is a company that automates contract review and legal document analysis. So those are a few of the established founded companies, Black founded AI companies. And then some of the noted early stage industry focused innovators are Planner, which is a startup that streamlines financial and regulatory data using advanced AI analytics for investment firms. And then there's Hire Henry, which is an affordable AI-powered robotics that automates manufacturing and logistics for small and mid-sized businesses. So it lowers the entry barrier for process automation. And then as far as community and ecosystem leaders, there's Afrotech. Afrotech recently had their annual conference a few weeks ago in Houston, and they'll be celebrating 10 years next year. And they are a key media and events platform supporting Black tech entrepreneurs in the ecosystem, including AI startups. So it's very important that, you know, we have a seat at the table, that we are in this space. And those are just a few of the notable firms. And in just a bit, I'll be demonstrating how one of our custom-built tools works with universal tools to enhance the current AI user experience.
Well, you know, Nilda, as I look back, I know there's a book behind you that that you've written. You want to tell everybody just the name of that book real quick so they can pick it up?
Oh, sure. Thank you. The name of the book is AI for Executives, and it is on Amazon. You can see the QR code there. It was actually came out last year, and I'm in the middle of writing my second book about insourcing AI. So stay tuned.
Fantastic. Well, thanks a lot. And we've got a bunch of authors on this today. I know Grant has a new book out on leadership, and so I'll get a chance, hopefully, for him to share that with you today. But I also wanted to kind of make a point here, because as we're talking about infusing our culture and taking responsibility for AI, this didn't come about by accident. ICABA, which now is in its 16th year of creating a trusted community for Black professionals and entrepreneurs worldwide, we have now created our own AI Accelerator group in the ICABA community. And those are the folks that you're talking to today. And that group is continuing to grow and expand. And we are taking responsibility. So we are not just talking, but we are walking the talk. And so we're really trying to make sure that we're providing our culture the information that you need in being leaders in this space. And so, having said that, you know, Abdul, can you talk a little bit, you know, about the cultural perspectives of Black professionals in being reflected in AI innovation?
Absolutely. I just want to piggyback a little on some of the conversation that was happening earlier, where I believe Charles was talking about sort of making sure in the conversation around bias that we have our input and we bring that information in. Stephanie also was really focused on the accuracy of the information and looking at where we leverage these networks. So AI learns from our stories, right? And it loses accuracy when those stories are missing. And so that's not just for us, that's for the world, right? Imagine a world without Black contribution, right? It's just, it loses accuracy when those stories are missing. And cultural representation is not about diversity points. It's about data integrity. So we're not looking for DE&I and some warm, fuzzy feeling. This is about data integrity, period. We are here in the population in the United States and globally, Black and brown people. And when that culture is not represented, the data for everyone is going to be out of whack. So when Black culture is erased from technology, right? And we see this happening not just in technology, just period. I don't care what side of the aisle we're on. Let's be truthful. There are movements that are taking place right now in front of our eyes where Black culture is trying to be erased from books, from libraries, from schools. And we cannot allow that to happen in technology. Technology becomes inaccurate, incomplete, it becomes unsafe, not just for us, but for everyone, right? And so when you look at the impact that that has and the importance of having Black culture, innovation, and leadership included in what it is, we cannot, you know, look at or imagine a world where Black culture doesn't drive global culture. And excluding it from AI is both historically inaccurate and it's also economically catastrophic if we don't step in and be the leaders that we are here in ICABA, especially in the AI Accelerator, and take ownership of that. Because the world without Black innovation would be completely unrecognizable. It would be slower, It would be smaller, and it would actually be less humane. Like, just think about GPS. Wouldn't have it. Caller ID, fiber optic cables, refrigeration, modern cryptology, and on and on and on and on. Let's not talk about culture, jazz, hip hop, R&B. We're talking trillions of dollars of global industries that have been based on Black culture, Black stories, fashion, dance, language, digital culture, shaping social media trends. Look at TikTok, all of the different things that go viral. Where is that coming from? If our stories were not there, victories in civil rights that have shaped global democracy would be non-existent. And I'll stop there. I like to get a little hype. So.
And I'm glad you did. I'm going to give you 20 seconds. One thing that we can do to put that culture into AI. What's one thing? Let's leave them with at least one thing they can do to put that culture into AI, because the culture is rich.
Okay, so quick. You don't have to be a coder. You just need to be a contributor. AI is a team sport. Everyone has a role. Decide where your role is based on where you are, your understanding, your capacity. It's not about catching up. It's about taking the lead. You can lead from anywhere, right? First thing, skill up. You got to use AI to increase your income because economics is everything. Join forum like ICABA here. Get involved in ICABA Accelerator. Participate in data creation like Stephanie and Mark called out. Advocate for policy and representation. And you got to get in and get some ownership. Invest in Black-owned tech funds and startups. Build or co-create AI products with your peoples. And that's how you get out.
You got to get in if you want to win, right?
Get in it to win it, baby.
Exactly.
The time is now.
Hey, listen, I've got a question here, comment from Simone, and she's asking about recommending would you recommend that people eventually have their own small language model instead of relying on larger models like ChatGPT or Claude? And for those who want one, would a company like Avatar Buddy build it for them? Yeah. I'm also wondering if the answer differs for individuals like students versus full organizations. All right, Stephanie, I'm going to give you 60 seconds to answer that question, and then we're going to move on and try to catch up on a little time here. Go ahead.
The answer depends on what it is you're trying to accomplish and what's your budget. So if you can afford a company like Avatar Buddy, there are smaller solutions that you can use that would provide something similar.
Fantastic. So and Avatar Buddy can help, and depending upon what your budget is, and if not, there are some other ways of being able to make that happen. And so we want to continue, this discussion, and there really are some practical ways to use AI to save time and to amplify your influence. So we're going to demonstrate the principle of input, output, impact. I'll say that one more time. Input, output, impact. And so let's move from the what and the why and talk about the how. We talked about responsibility and access, but how do we actually use AI that makes our daily work easier, smarter, and more strategic? Grant, jump in here, my brother, and let's talk about some simple real-world ways that you're using AI and that we can share with the folks that they can do as well.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on the Thriving podcast. I feel like I am thriving today. I always get amped up when I hear Abdul. I'm like, yeah. I'm feeling it. Bringing the heat, just showing what's happening. Angela, everybody is hitting all these cylinders. And Charles, you've laid what you call the framework and the infrastructure of what it is. But this is where AI shines. How do you use it? How do you take this incredible tool and apply it to your particular business or your career? This is very, very important. It's like when Microsoft's suite of Office products came out years ago, and you had to get certified in these Office products. And then the more that you got certified, the more valuable you became. And as you saw over time, it became a commodity. It almost became, when you put your resume in, they assumed that you know how to operate PowerPoint, you know how to operate Word, and so forth and so forth. And then same thing with Google Suite. And then Google Suite came out, and people started they got ahead of the curve. They understood how Google worked, and then they were valuable. And then they became more commoditized over time. AI is in this same window. This is no longer a choice. You must become AI proficient, right? You must become digitally literate in AI at the highest level. The more that you're able to utilize these tools, the more valuable you will become. And this is a major shift in the economic framework or picture that we are in. We've moved from agricultural to manufacturing to information technology, and now this is intelligent technology in its infancy. If you master it now, you will be the leader in the future. And when I say that, look at what the NASDAQ and the stock exchange tells you right now. Who are the leaders? These are digital entities, right? Your Ubers, and I look at even the infrastructure layer, NVIDIA, building out a data center, what's going to be support this infrastructure going forward. So I'm giving you a context. This is not a choice. You must become proficient in utilizing these AI tools. Now, with that said, how do you do that? You've got to start looking at your own workflow from morning, afternoon, and evening. What are you doing, and what is taking up your time? What is giving you the most friction and resistance in your business or in your career? Identify what that is. Identify what that is. And then start utilizing the AI tool of choice, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's Claude, Perplexity, whatever it may be, as your dashboard, right? This becomes your template that you're going to begin to let's map out my day. What does this look like? Give the information to the AI tool of choice so it can begin to learn who you are. Remember this, AI is not magic, it's math. I will say that again. AI is not magic, it is math. And it depends on the clarity of the information that you are giving it. AI is a master at data and information. What it is not a master at is context, right? Knowledge, applied knowledge is very important, and wisdom. That is your place in the human loop. The human AI, as I call it, HAI, human in the loop, is very, very important. You own the context. You own the applied knowledge. You own the wisdom. Allow that data and that information and that accumulation and that mathematics to happen at speed, to happen at scale. There are two things that technology does better than anything else in this world. That is speed. The other one is communication. So if you have to communicate at speed and do it very, very well and very, very precise, you want to use AI as your assistant. I love how Stephanie says her AI buddy. You want this to be your assistant, your buddy, not your replacement. There's no way you're going to be replaced by AI because it does not have context, it does not have applied knowledge capability, and it does not have wisdom. It was never meant to have that. It is meant to learn what you need and give you a dashboard of information quickly and effectively. And the more you do that, it can then drive efficiencies into your business and into your day. It can then start looking at revenue models that you have in your business. Say, hey, look, we can get more money if we do it this way. This is what I'm saying, because it's drawing not from information from yourself, not just information from your business, but information that's worldwide. So now you have a worldwide data set of information that you can apply to your own business model and start driving better efficiencies into your endeavor at hand. This is no longer a choice. This is something that you must do because your competition, I guarantee you, is doing this. So you say, how do I get started, Grant? Very simply, just like what we're doing right now. Start taking your context, your emails, your communications, your audio, and start recording that, having it so it's at place so that you can digitize this information. Once it's digitized, you can repurpose it. I use it in my business when I do a podcast. This is a human-to-human interaction that I am now recording, and I am repackaging it in many different modalities. But not just doing that of itself. I'm actually learning how to get better with every reiteration of my set. This is very, very important. So when you start looking at what can I do? How can I apply this? How can I apply efficiencies? You've got to first teach your AI on what it is that you want it to be able to do, give it the clarity of context, and allow it to go to work for you. So I'm going to stop there so I can bring in Hutch and we can begin actually having an interactive discussion.
Well, thank you, Grant. And I want to mention, too, congratulations to you, Grant, because you were just named one of the 50 top AI voices in the country. And as I noticed, it looked like you were the only one of color there. So we're going to work on that. We got some other folks here that we know that probably should be on that list there with you. But thanks for your comments there. And as we're getting to some examples, as it relates to AI, and I know you guys are going to provide some pathway to folks in this series. So we want to just remind everybody, this is a series kickoff for the upcoming full-blown series of getting into practical ways of using AI with examples, applications, and giving you the background and the real world on screen at the time, how to use AI to do everything from creating websites, writing papers. You can create your own movie. You can create songs. It's amazing the things that you can do with AI. And during the Accelerating Your Growth with AI series, we're going to get into all these things. So today was the kickoff to really kind of set the stage for what's coming. And so, Grant, as we're talking about that right now, I want to take a look and see if we've got any questions for members. And I don't see any more questions in the comments. I do see, looks like there's something here from Simone about inputting our own content. Yes, so that we can be represented. But how do we balance that with the reality of non-consensual data scraping by companies using information that we don't want included? Where should the line be drawn between voluntary contribution and unwanted data collection? I'm going to give you a layman's answer to that question, and I'm going to let some of the smarter people speak to that. But you know what? The privacy ended quite some time ago in the world. What we put online is unfortunately very much open to a lot of people being able to take advantage of it and see it. So just the whole thing of privacy definitely is a major issue. And so we have to decide whether or not we want to take the chance on contributing to a system, but the value, and if you will, and the cost and the ROI is how much you can get back versus what somebody may take from you. But anyone else want to chime in on that particular question?
I'll take that, Hutch, right? Because this is very important. It's about intentionality. Understanding first, there's a difference between public and private knowledge. Anything you make public, you have to be intentional about because it can be amplified and potentially could be misused. But if you have enough good information out there that you're intentional about, you are authentic about, and is aligned with your brand, it becomes very, very much more difficult to misuse the information that's out there. Case in point, I intentionally have built my personal brand to where search, which is like Google, and social, when they look me up, I know exactly what they're going to see because I have curated the information. I've made it available to these platforms because I wanted to amplify my brand. I'm going to go back to what you said earlier. Hey, Grant, how do you become one of the top 50 AI persons in 2025? That is because I was intentional about it. And because I'm intentional about it, the algorithms are picking me up and they're able to present me as that particular persona within that framework. This is important because this is how you flip the script. So AI is not going to be something that's bringing you down. It's something that can amplify you and bring you up when you're intentional, you know how to use it.
Now, Grant, when you say that you're intentional, you're talking about being intentional about contributing and putting, if you will, content online and sharing and participating in events like this and groups like this, right?
Absolutely. Right now, there are megabytes, gigabytes, and gazillion bytes of information that's coming in from the Thriving podcast that's going out all over the place. this is what we need to understand. AI, just like us, we love food. We love it, right? Your car loves gasoline. AI loves data. Feed it. Feed it the data that you want it. It'll take it. It'll love you for it, and it'll amplify it, and it will glorify you for it. But you have to be intentional about this.
And also, for those who do have concern about privacy, you just have to be really mindful of what you put online. And if you really don't want anybody to have a chance to take it, probably more than don't put it out there because there's too good of a chance, particularly
public and private. Two different things. Public, private, and remember, trademark still works, copyright still works. So understand those kinds of legalities as well in governance.
Well, thank you, Grant. It's time for us we're going to go over to Nilda, and she has a hands-on, practical, if you will, tool. And all of us who use tools like Claude and ChatGPT and really AI in general, we know it's all about the prompt, right? So whatever you put in is going to impact what you get out. So over to you, Nilda.
Okay, great. Thank you, Hutch. So before I go into the demonstration, I'd like to first provide the framework on how to prompt, because again, AI starts with a prompt. So I have a slide that's going to be shown here on how to prompt effectively, just to kind of put things into context. So you want to make sure that you are specific and clear as to what you put into your AI. You want to, so an example would be, instead of, saying, give me marketing strategies, you might want to say, outline 3 innovative digital marketing strategies for B2B SaaS products, targeting small and medium-sized businesses. So as you can see, it gives you more, you're giving the AI more information so the output can give you what you need. The next step would be, you want to definitely provide some context. So you want to explain the purpose of the information so it can be tailored to your AI responses. So example, draft a concise executive summary for our Q3 performance review, highlighting key achievements and challenges for an investor audience. That's very specific and it provides the context. Then you also want to specify the format and tone. So this is to guide the AI on the desired style, structure, and length. So for example, write a formal email to stakeholders announcing a new product launch, ensuring it's under 200 words and includes a call to action. So again, and also, again, as Grant had mentioned, it's important to train the AI. You want to train the AI so when you get the output, it sounds like you or it sounds like your company. You also want to give it positive instructions. So you want to tell it what to do so you can get clearer results. So example, generate a list of top 5 challenges for remote teams focusing on communication and collaboration. And then lastly, you want to refine. You want to adjust the prompts based on the AI response to improve results. So you want to definitely put some small tweaks and phrasing. So you want to make sure that whatever AI brings back to you, whichever AI that you're using, you want to make sure to put your human touch. You don't want to take it for verbatim. You also have to do your due diligence, making sure that the information that it's giving back to you is correct, especially if you're asking for statistics. So now I'll go into the demonstration and we'll show you the demonstration. So this is the AI Workforce Pro Hub that I've created. And it's your all-in-one system for creating role-specific AI workflows in seconds. So today I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough on how our industry prompt generators work. So you can see exactly how businesses and teams can use. So as you can see, we have the general productivity, as well as it translates into Spanish for you. So we have general productivity type prompts. We have industry specific prompts. And then we also have role-based prompts. And we are every month or every quarter, we will be adding more prompts for various categories. So for today's purposes, I'm going to demonstrate operations. So when you first log in, you'll see that it's going to provide you some recommended prompts that you would go with your profession, because in your profile, it'll pick it up from there. So since we're using the operations prompt, you'll see that there are several roles. So we have the operations analyst, and I'm just clicking through this pretty quickly just to show you that each role has different deliverables that you can choose from. So that was the supply chain role there. So for today, I'm going to choose process improvement specialist. And these are the various context types. So we're going to use workflow optimization. Everyone wants to improve their workflow. And then when you go into the next step, here's where you're going to put your company details. So here I'm putting in ABC, the industry. I'm going to choose manufacturing. And then the department is going to be fulfillment, and supply chain. And so here, the goal, you can choose what your goal is going to be. We want to improve efficiency. You can put in your target audience and additional information. So the target audience here, we're putting in that it is procurement. We won't put additional information. We're going to put in that we want it to be a conversational, the tone. So you can choose the various tones that you want. And then we're going to put what the output is going to be. We want a step-by-step guide here for this particular example. And then you generate your prompt. So as you can see, it has generated a prompt for you, as well as additional information that I put in there. You're going to copy your prompt. And you can choose between ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Gemini. I'm going to show you through ChatGPT exactly what the output would be. Now, I've trained my AI, and I call it Bestie, so that's why it says, "Good to see you, Bestie." And so I'm letting her know that, I am demoing this prompt, so it's not taking my information to provide the information, the output that we're going to receive. So I've pasted it in there. And as you can see, she's telling me that here's a clear, actionable, step-by-step workflow guide that's built for the manufacturing industry. Again, since we don't have specific information for that particular company, it's not as specific as it could be. But if you're using it for your purposes, you'll be putting in your information. So as you can see, it has various steps here for you, what the actions that you have to take, a template checklist for you, the KPIs that you want to capture. Also standardizing and streamlining your vendor intake. Step 3, introducing digital approval workflows and the actions you need to take in that step. And then implementing 3-way match automation, what some of the best practices are for that. You're optimizing your supplier communication. So it's giving you an actual guide on what you need to do to be able to optimize your workforce for that particular industry, which is the manufacturing industry that we chose. It gives you also your procurement framework, how to analyze your forecast, and even train your team and build a playbook for your team to be successful. And then it sets the 90-day implementation plan and what you need to do for each week in that 90-day plan. So that's what ChatGPT gave us. And then now we're going to go back into the tool, and you'll be able to see, we're going to go back in here and we're going to choose Claude. And we're going to go back in here. We're going to select the tone again. And then the output, again, a step-by-step, because I want to show you the differentiation when you use the AI and what you get back. So we're choosing Claude here. And here in Claude, we're pasting it in. And you're going to see how in Claude, it's going to give you a more robust output and more detailed as well. So it's thinking here. And this one, as you can see, it's actually giving you what the current pain points are. ChatGPT didn't give us that. Your procurement volume, which you'll input that information, some questions that it's asking you, the team size. And it's giving you several phases in addition to steps. So this one is giving you, again, assessment and quick wins, because you want to have some quick wins. Mapping out what your current state is, your template for mapping out this exercise and the workflow. Again, your KPIs. And it gives you also a tiered matrix here. So as you can see, it's very, very detailed here what it provides. But it's giving you a step-by-step process. So just think about if this was something that you needed to provide, for your boss or for your company, you have this tool here that can help you to actually put a great workflow optimization program for your industry and for your company.
Well, that's fantastic, Nilda. That's really rough. As you're showing the difference between Claude and what you can, get from ChatGPT and your prompt. And we're going to talk about your prompts more as we go through this series too, right? And
yes, absolutely.
We're going to, in a few minutes, going to give everybody a chance to learn how to reach out to you so they can connect with you specifically to learn more about that. So thanks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That really, really brings a lot of that to bear. And the prompt is really the key. And you've done a wonderful job of putting together that prompt. I'd like to, if I can, jump into a couple of other tools of AI and have some of our other Accelerator group members. So the ICABA Accelerator group is very excited about, this opportunity to share with our community. And I want to talk a little bit about text, or I'm going to say Charles is going to talk a little bit about the, text through ChatGPT, Perplexity, and some research with Gemini, Claude, and Avatar Buddy. So Charles, back to you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. So my go-to tool for everything is ChatGPT. I think that it basically leads, you can create prompts there for the other tools. As I think Nilda was talking about, the way that you access these tools and harness their power is through prompting. And so there are different types of course, AI tools out there. But text is one of them, right? So your text tools are your Perplexity, your Gemini, your ChatGPT, and they generate text output. Some of these models are also multimodal, and so some of them can also generate images. Some of the tools that you can use for generating images are your Midjourney, which generates really awesome images, or your Nana Banana, which is a Google Gemini model that basically allows you to generate images and modify those images. And so, as you go through, you'll figure out the one that is going to be best for you, right? The tools, you kind of want to, what I would suggest for users is pick one that you can go deep on. I use ChatGPT because it has this capability to use memory. So if I create something there or provide context, it basically remembers the information that I share with it. And so I don't have to repeat that. And over time, if you keep using it often, and I think as Grant was talking about, the more information that you feed it, the more context you give it, the better it's going to know you. And so over time, if you're using one of those tools, I would say, go deep on one of the tools that really you feel most comfortable with, and to try to give it as much context around who you are as possible. And then use some of the other text tools. For example, take a prompt that you run in one tool, but in another tool, and then make some comparisons there. And of course, the other types of, AI that you have out there, or AI tools, are tools that can generate code. Going back again, you have, things like Gemini and ChatGPT, which are multimodal. Multimodal means that an AI tool or an AI is basically able to do multiple things. So ChatGPT can generate images, it can generate text. They also have other models like Sora that can also generate video. And of course, video is another component there that you have that is basically using AI to be able to generate a video, whether it's a clip, whether it's, you cloning yourself and then being able to generate a video of yourself speaking, or generating a video about something for a movie or for a promo that you want to create. And then the final piece is voice. And voice is where it basically you can use it to generate your voice. You heard Angela AI at the beginning talking, and so that was a clone of her voice. And voice can also be used to create songs, so that people can sing them. So these are kind of the different types of AI tools that exist in the market. And you have to kind of figure out, it's not one tool. It's kind of like a toolbox. You kind of have to figure out which tool you're going to use for what purpose, right? And kind of figure out which one is going to be best for you, because there's so many new tools coming out every single day. And I hear a lot of folks getting really overwhelmed trying to figure out how to use every tool. You don't need to learn to use every tool. You just need to figure out the one that works really well for you, and then go deep on it, and you'll get a lot more productivity working with it that way.
All right. Well, thank you, Charles. And I want to ask Grant to step in and talk a little bit about Gemini, HeyGen, Lumen, and 11 Labs, and a couple of other tools that are out there to use.
Well, I think Charles kind of laid it out what the tool set can look like, but it's all about application and workflow. What is it, and this is how I utilize these AI tools, what is it that I'm looking to accomplish? And then secondarily, you have to become proficient in these tools. If you go from jumping from tool to tool to tool, you're not going to really know the nuances of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. And you have to utilize it as much as possible. Someone alluded to it earlier, like when you're doing video generation, depending on what it is that you're looking to create, can be a great tool or not so much. Like if you're utilizing a video generator and you want to generate Grant's voice and his likeness, HeyGen is very, very good. Very, very good. It'll look like me. I give it some video clips of my actual imagery. It's going to duplicate it. Then it'll try to mimic my voice. You can use 11 Labs. That's the number, you spell that out, 11labs.com. Very, very good at voice audio generation. However, I will tell you this, it's not going to be exact. It's not going to sound like you exactly. It's not going to look like you exactly. And I want you to take this key home that I'm just about to tell you. It shouldn't be. When you need live video, you need to show up and be your authentic self, be that. But if you're doing any kind of marketing, or you're doing any kind of like training, or you need to do something that you just need a likeness potentially of yourself or an AI avatar, use it, because it's all about amplification and it's all about duplication. I can do more with less. I can take myself and I can 10x myself, where right now, as we speak, my videos are speaking for me on all kinds of different platforms. I'm live here right now with you, but I'm not here right now with you completely. I am all over the place, right? I encourage you to even go to my website. That's 5starbdm.com. What you're going to see there is an embedded GPT. It is my GPT that I am utilizing to teach you about branding. This is something that's kind of new. We've talked about earlier, like, well, how, if the GPTs are called the large language models are biased, how can I, augment that? Well, you can create your own GPT within ChatGPT and then give it context, give it information, give it your PDFs, give it all kinds of information that you need to build what you wanted to build. I wanted it to build a brand engine, personal branding for anyone. Do it yourself. You can now ask my AI avatar, which I call Sentinel, and you can use it in a text form or a voice form, because in ChatGPT, it can be conversational. You just hit the button that has the little mic there, and it will begin to talk to you. And you can ask it very simple things. Who are you and what are your capabilities? And it will tell you. How can you help me? and then it will tell you. And the more information you give it, the more information it'll give back to you, and it'll take you through and show you where you are right now from a basic brand persona. If you utilize these things, I also give you a number. This is one thing I love right now. That's the agentic AI world. What is that? I gave you a little piece of that with the Chat GPT, customized GPT. This is agentic AI. It's an agent. It is an automated agent. It's a robot, but you are programming it. So if you dial this number, I'll give it to you because this is one of my partners I work with called We Level. We Level is for small business owners like yourself. If you want to automate scheduling, you want to automate your CRM, you want to be able to intake and triage calls when you can't be on it. Like right now, I'm live. If somebody is calling me and say, hey, Grant, I want to do business with you, I want my agent to triage that call and book that call and put it on my calendar. So if you dial this number, 484-309-8885, you're going to get a demo. And you're going to be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. For a small business owner, you can take one salesperson and make 3x, 5x, 10x. It's about utilizing these types of tools and these technologies to grow value, to grow revenue, and grow profits for your business. And that is going to take you to a higher level.
Fantastic, Grant. Thanks a lot. And speaking of, I guess kind of sales opportunities, we're going to give you an opportunity to join ICABA and give you a discount today just for being here. And so I'm going to let May put that information. As a matter of fact, you join today, you can save anywhere from $100 to up to $700 by joining today at joinicaba.com, joinicaba.com. Nope, not the ICABAworldnetwork.com. This is a special deal. So you got to take that one down, May. It is JON, there you go, ICABA.com. And there you get the discount for today. Guys, I want to give you a chance to meet the ICABA Accelerator group members. And so each person has, an area of expertise and their superpower, their focus, and their strengths. And so at this point, I know that we're going to give you a quick look at who they are, a little bit about them. So I'm going to turn it over to May to be able to share a little background about our group that's here with you today. So I know we've got Abdul Muhammad II. His strength is really in executive performance coaching, mindful leadership, emotional intelligence and holistic resilience practices, business growth, strategy, fractional C-suite support, and AI-enabled efficiency for high-performing cultures. Charles Smart, practical AI literacy and coaching that builds real skills, problem-focused AI strategy and solution design, custom automations and enterprise-grade AI applications, governance, AI adoption, and organizational change support. Grant McGaugh, AI-powered personal branding, visual storytelling, and multimedia content creation, podcasting strategy, and digital authority building to expand visibility, influence, and client engagement. Nilda Thomas, the prompt generator genius, AI literacy, workforce development, and strategic adoption with fractional CAIO support. Custom AI tools, role-based training, and organizational enablement by building an AI-educated workforce. Stephanie Sylvester, generative AI, small language models, and digital twin AI agent systems for enterprise efficiency. Not for the low at heart, but for those who are really ready to grow to the next level and be huge in this world of AI, you want to get with Stephanie. Responsible AI, leadership development, and human digital collaboration training. Angela Reed James, the voice of the ICABA AI Accelerator Group, leadership development, workforce management, and operational excellence across corporate, nonprofit, and ministry sectors. If you need to take chaos and then create clarity out of it, then you want to talk to Angela, and she'll help you with customer experience optimization and process improvement, providing strategic leadership and guidance to organizations going through transition and transformation. Why? Because her superpower is bringing order to chaos. As we begin to wrap up, we've got about 10 minutes left here, and I don't know if there were any more thoughts or questions. Then May will put those up on the screen for us, and Angela. We really want to get you fired up, because what you're seeing is exactly what we've been talking about, and that is we have taken the initiative to come together to connect, collaborate, and create a community of AI accelerators, not only to move our business forward, but also to create an opportunity to bring you with us. And that's what our culture is about, and we want to continue to do that. We are not going to wait for somebody to bring it to us. We are going to be about it and bring it to ourselves. And so we invite you to be a part of the journey. Join ICABA and be a part of what we're doing. We've got our series coming up starting in January that's going to take you through various, if you will, applications, examples, real world examples of how to use AI to increase your productivity, increase sales opportunities, your marketing, amplifying your influence, your awareness, your visibility, all of those things in the marketplace. And so I want to also tell you, we've got a survey, and we want to understand, what are your needs? What are you looking for? What are your things that you're using AI for today? And what are kind of things that maybe has you a little bit hesitant about using AI, so that we can craft and define and design just the exact kinds of programs and information that will help you to be able to embrace AI and make it work for you. So I'm going to turn over right now to Angela, and she's going to take it from here. And I really appreciate the fact that our members have come together to do this. So I want to say thank you, hats off to you, and we appreciate your support and your contributions. Everybody, for a great job here today. And over to you.
Thank you, Hutchinson. Actually, Angela AI is going to close us out for the day. Thank you, panelists, for joining us.
As we close, I want to remind you what makes the AI Accelerators movement so special, and why this moment matters for Black business owners, Black professionals, and Black creatives everywhere. What sets us apart is what we call the Accelerator's Edge. We apply what others only talk about, because information means nothing if you can't use it to move your business, your vision, or your goals forward in real time. We teach in human language, breaking AI down in a way that feels natural, relatable, and actually doable in your everyday work. We lead with responsibility, making sure the way we use AI reflects integrity, dignity, and intentional impact in our communities. We build, not borrow, creating frameworks and tools shaped by our lived experiences, our culture, and the future we're designing together. And we're a collective force, a community of leaders choosing collaboration over competition as we push into this next era. That's the Accelerator's Edge. And that's why today's conversation matters. Not because AI is new, but because our approach is different. Our commitment is different. Our intention is different. This isn't just about technology. It's about readiness and ownership. We're not here to overwhelm you. We're here to walk with you, to translate, to simplify, to empower, and to make sure you have a place in the future that's being built right now. So as you step away from today's podcast, give yourself permission to start wherever you are. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to begin. Because once you take that first step, you're already part of something bigger, Thank you for joining us. I'm AI Angela, and I'm excited to keep building this future with you.